Okay, welcome back to Speculate to Accumulate. We're going to call it Season 2, Episode 2. We're back in the same room together again. First time since...
New room, but same room.
Yeah, new room, but same room. when we were it, last time we did one together. March,
innit? Just before the season finished.
We had a bloody lockdown and everything, haven't we, since? But yeah, nice little backdrop today. Different location. So, before we get started, this podcast is brought to you by Faded Barbershop in Leyland in Lancashire. So if you need a haircut, like I'm going for one soon, that's why I'm wearing a hat, then go and see Kane and the boys, and they'll sort you out. So, before we get going, we're going to do a weekly topic every week in the world of football. I want to know your views on this one, being an Arsenal fan. Gareth Bale returning to Spurs. How's it going to go down?
I've not really followed it too much, to be honest. I've been zoned out of sport most of this week. But it can't be a bad signing. Risk-free, 1 year loan. It can't be bad, can it?
They've got an option to extend to 2 as well, I think, haven't they?
It's only a good deal for Spurs, isn't it?
They look good going forward. The forward three look good. But will they finish above Arsenal with Bale?
No.
I reckon. That's another one as well. Will United, me being a United fan, cards on the table now, who's going to finish above who?
I said to you last week, week before, it's an absolute coin toss for me.
20 quid. There you go. Got it on camera. You probably could finish above us.
You've got Liverpool to finish outside top 4 with me as well.
Oh yeah, what odds did I get you? 9 to 1.
I mean, your 12's done out for a tenner.
Yeah, well.
Talked you into a bit of a higher stake by giving you better odds. 9 to 1 for a 5, 12 to 1 for a tenner.
I'll take them odds all day. I don't think they will.
Yeah,
people think I'm crazy. But they just signed Thiago now, haven't they?
Yeah.
But that's an all different story. But yeah, Bale to Spurs, I think if he behaves like he did in his first few seasons at Madrid, they'll be alright. But like you said, they've not got much to lose. They're only paying his wages, aren't they?
No bad press from him in Madrid now. He goes to training every day and just doesn't get picked.
That's it. Just think of the shirt sales. Spurs will make the money on that alone, won't they?
It can only be big for the club. What's he on, about 250, 300 grand a week, something like that? Spurs have to pay.
Yeah.
It's not ridiculous. Not like some contracts.
No. Are they going to get top 4? No, I don't think so either. Right, onto the bets. Fourfold this week. So we're going to have 4 teams just to win. If you've been here before, you'll know the drill. If you've not been here before, we're going to have a 4-fold teams to win and a 6-fold, both teams to score. I'll kick things off. So the first pick, I'm going to have Charlton to beat Doncaster. So Charlton beat Crewe away from home the first game of the season, whereas Doncaster drew at home to MK Dons. Recently relegated Charlton will be looking to bounce straight back into the Championship after getting relegated last season. And Doncaster last season only finished 9th place down in League One and only took 19 points from 15 away games.
My first pick, I'm going for Leeds at home to Fulham. Leeds looked impressive in a really entertaining game last week against Liverpool, weren't it?
Yeah.
Where they lost 4-3. They made 11 changes to the midweek penalty loss against Hull.
Yeah, all 11 men were.
Yeah, made 11 changes, so I'm expecting them to field a similar side, probably the same side to what played against Liverpool, and fully fresh for that. On the other hand, Fulham, I thought, looked miserable against us last week. I thought they looked out of the depth. I thought they looked slow. Based on last week, I think they're going to get beat probably 25 to 30 times this season, just looking at last week.
Straight back down, you reckon?
Yeah. Bottom of the league, probably.
Another thing to touch on as well, actually, we did a predictor at the start of last season and we actually successfully predicted the 3 teams going up from the Championship to the Premier League. Could do that, wasn't it?
It was.
Shame we didn't put nothing on it.
We were bound to get something right over the season.
Right, third pick. We're going to have Hull to beat Crewe. So similar to Charlton, I'm going for a recently relegated Hull to win after they did beat Leeds midweek, like you've just mentioned. And they beat Gillingham 2-0 away, first game of the season. Crewe lost their opening game 2-0 at home to Charlton, like I mentioned in the first pick. And I think League One is a big step up for Crewe, and I think they'll struggle to stay up to this season. However, I think Hull will be lurking around the top 4 in League One this season. Go straight back up. Third pick, Hull to beat Crewe.
And the final pick is going to be Norwich to beat Preston. I think keeping the likes of Godfrey, Aarons, Cantwell, Pucky, signing that Oliver Skip from Spurs. I don't know if it's permanent or on loan. I just saw him on last week's team sheet. I think that's going to prove massive for them if they want to stay back up. They've kept them so far. Whether they will over the next couple of weeks, I don't know. But I think that's going to be vital for them. They won 1-0 away at Huddersfield last week.
Yeah.
Preston, on the other hand, lost at home to Swansea in a game that didn't feature Daniel Johnson, who last season was the star man for Preston. He's meant to be leaving the club, linked with a move to Rangers, I think, is it?
Yeah, 2 mil.
So, especially if he doesn't feature again tomorrow, then I can only see Norwich winning.
Yeah, I agree. Do you reckon they're going straight back up?
If they can keep hold of them players, I think so, yeah.
I think Pookie's the best striker in that league. He's a proper championship striker, him. Gets goals done. He didn't do too bad last season, really, did he?
He started well,
petered off a bit, didn't he? Right, so the fourfold is as follows. We're going to have Charlton to beat Doncaster,
Leeds to beat Fulham,
Hull to beat Crewe,
and Norwich to beat Preston.
Odds?
I've not priced it up.
Not a clue. Bang them on. Soon see. You'd be getting at least 10s, aren't you?
I'm hoping so.
At least.
4 home wins, is it?
Yeah, 4 homes. On to the both teams to score. You want to kick things off, mate?
My first pick is going to be Rotherham versus Millwall. Rotherham won 1-0 away at Wickham last week, but I do expect them to be a bit leaky at the back. Wickham aren't renowned for scoring lots and lots of goals as it is anyway, are they?
No.
So I do expect them to be leaky at the back this season whilst still being capable of scoring plenty. Millwall drew 0-0 when hosting Stoke last week, but midweek they beat Cheltenham in the League Cup 3-1. And I think there's 2 leagues difference in there, which doesn't fill your back line with confidence, does it, conceding to a team 2 leagues below?
No. Second pick on the sixfold, both teams to score. We're going to have Burton versus Accrington. So Burton's previous 6 have all landed both teams to score. The previous 3 fixtures between these 2 sides have also landed both teams to score in every one of them. Last week in the EFL Cup, this fixture finished 1-1 and then Burton went on to win on penalties. And last season, Burton finished 12th, whereas Accrington finished 17th with only an 8-point difference. So they're pretty well-matched side.
The third pick is going to be Blackpool versus Swindon. It's a game where I picked both of these sides last week. Swindon came in as they beat Rochdale 3-1. And they've also landed both teams scoring their other 2 competitive games this season, which was West Brom in the EFL Trophy and Charlton in the League Cup. And they conceded 3 in both of those games. So I still fancy them to be really leaky. And as mentioned last week, Blackpool are normally very reliable for both teams to score. They didn't score last week, but I'm sticking with them again.
Yeah. Good last season for us then, weren't they?
Yeah.
Fourth pick, we're going to have Wimbledon versus Plymouth. So Wimbledon landed both teams to score in 3 of the previous 5 games, where Plymouth have landed 4 of the previous 5. Plymouth won their opening game, whereas Wimbledon drew 2-2. They beat Blackpool, didn't they?
Sorry, what's that?
Plymouth, they beat Blackpool, didn't they?
They beat Blackpool,
yeah. After watching Leyton Orient versus Plymouth in the Cup midweek, yeah, I did watch it, believe it or not. They were 2-0 up and then they threw it away and Leyton Orient won 3-2. I saw that Plymouth can score goals, but they can also concede them as well. Defensively, they was all over the place against a side of league below them. So, like I said, they're capable of conceding more than a few goals. And League One is a step up, which I hope they can manage because I'm a Danny Mayer fanboy.
The fifth pick is going to be Peterborough versus Fleetwood. A fixture that last season was almost a banker, wasn't it? The way both of them rolled in, both teams to score most weeks.
Yeah.
Although last week Peterborough lost 2-0 at Accrington, but they drew with Burton Albion 3-3 a few days earlier in the League Cup, which is a lot more like Peterborough than a 2-0.
Yeah.
Fleetwood have played 4 competitive games this season, spread out over 3 competitions. They've landed both teams scoring all 4 of them, and even more impressively, won all 4.
Nice. He's left there, isn't he? Ivan Toney. He's gone to Brentford. He went Brentford, didn't he?
Yeah.
Brentford, yeah. Is this a 6th? You started, didn't you? Yeah, so the 6th pick on the 6th fold, we're going to have both teams scoring the game between Crawley and Scunthorpe, one of the last season's favourites, weren't they? Do you remember when Crawley, was it 15 or 16 games in a row they landed?
I think it was more than that. I think they got to about 18, didn't they? And then we backed them and
they don't, and they only want to let us down. So both sides have landed 3 of the previous 5 games, both teams to score. The previous 5 meetings between these two sides have all finished with both teams scoring, which is quite impressive. And this fixture back in January finished 3-1 to Crawley. So the 6th fold is as follows. We're going to have Burton to beat both teams to score in Burton versus Accrington,
Rotherham versus Millwall,
Wimbledon versus Plymouth,
Blackpool versus Swindon,
Crawley versus Scunthorpe,
and Peterborough versus Fleetwood.
We should be getting around 25s, 26s.
Minimum.
Yeah, at least. Fingers crossed anyway. But yeah, so we're back. Hopefully restrictions won't keep us apart, and we'll keep recording, because they're bloody popping bubbles and all sorts now, aren't they? So
yeah,
who knows? But yeah, if you did enjoy this pod, then hit the subscribe button below if you're on YouTube, hit the follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you're listening on audio, and we'll be back next week and hopefully celebrating.
Hopefully.
Peace.